14 things cruise lines secretly banned without telling anyone in 2025. Cruise lines love to hand us those neat lists of what you can't bring on board. No weapons, no drugs, no smuggling a Costco-sized bottle of vodka in your backpack. We all get it. But here's the thing. There are way stranger things they've secretly banned without really telling anyone. And when I say strange, I'm not kidding. We're talking about passengers kicked off for fishing rods on their balconies, couples booted for being a little too passionate under the stars, and even Disney cracking down on the one thing kids loved most: rubber ducks. Some of these bans make sense. Others, you'll be shaking your head, wondering who thought of them, or which passenger made them necessary. So today, we're counting down 14 bizarre things cruise lines have secretly banned in 2025. From the downright dangerous to the hilariously ridiculous. Stick around to the very end, because the last one is so absurd, it'll leave you asking, really? They banned that? Number 1. Balcony selfies or dangerous stunts. Balconies are supposed to be for sipping coffee, watching sunsets, and maybe spying on your neighbor's towel animal skills. But some passengers, nope, they turn them into a stunt show. We've all seen the viral photos. People climbing onto balcony railings to take a once-in-a-lifetime selfie, dangling over the ocean like they're auditioning for Mission Impossible, Cruise Ship Edition. The problem? Cruise lines don't find this nearly as Instagram-worthy. In fact, one passenger on Royal Caribbean was permanently banned after staff caught her climbing over the railing to pose for photos. She didn't fall, but if she had, it would have been game over. That's a long drop into very cold water. And the funniest part? Other passengers weren't shocked at the ban. They were shocked she thought it was a good idea in the first place. Comments on Reddit were brutal. Congrats, you've won the Darwin Award at sea. So yes, selfies are allowed. Just keep your feet inside the ship. Because nothing ruins your vacation faster than being escorted off for treating your balcony like it's a jungle gym. Number 2. Fishing from the balcony. Yes, someone actually tried this. Picture it. You're on a luxury cruise, thousands of dollars spent, gourmet buffets at your fingertips, ports full of fresh seafood waiting for you. And one passenger decides, you know what would make this better? Dropping a fishing line off my balcony, I wish I was making this up. A Reddit thread blew up after a cruiser admitted they saw a guy unpack a full fishing rod on his balcony and cast it straight into the open ocean. Now, you'd think the crew would be impressed if he reeled in a tuna, but no. The line tangled, it created a hazard, and he was promptly escorted to the naughty room. Translation: a very awkward chat with security. Cruise lines had to put a stop to it. Why? Because dangling fishing lines near propellers, ports, or even just other passengers' balconies isn't exactly safe. And let's be honest, nobody paid for their romantic sea view cabin to listen to their neighbor yelling, "I think I got a bite." So yes, fishing is now officially a banned balcony activity. Save it for the shore excursions, or you might just be the catch of the day for cruise security. Number 3. Loud romantic behavior on balconies. Balconies are thin-walled, echo chambers over the ocean. Which means, when you and your partner decide to, celebrate your love out there, your neighbors get the front row soundtrack. One couple learned this the hard way. They left their balcony door open during some very loud late-night activities, and let's just say the other passengers weren't serenaded by waves crashing. It was something else entirely. Complaints rolled in, staff checked, and the couple was politely but firmly asked to leave the ship at the next port. On Reddit, passengers joked about it like it was a live performance nobody asked for. Balcony karaoke is one thing, but this? Nope. Another person said they had to explain to their kids why the neighbors were wrestling. So yes, cruise lines don't have an official no passion on balconies rule written down, but if you turn your private time into a public show, you'll find out very quickly that it's a bannable offense. Number 4. Swipe disputes and credit card chargebacks. Here's something most passengers have no idea about. It's not just climbing railings or smuggling booze that can get you banned. Sometimes all it takes is your credit card. A few cruisers learned the hard way that filing a chargeback after their vacation can put them on the blacklist. Yep, if you go home, look at your bill, and decide, I don't remember ordering 14 pina coladas and a karaoke bar tab, and then dispute the charges with your bank. The cruise line may just ban you for life. Reddit's full of stories where people thought they were being smart. The drinks package didn't work out, so I'll just tell my bank it was fraud. Spoiler alert, Cruise lines have receipts, cameras, and bartenders who remember you singing Bon Jovi at 2 a.m. They fight back hard. And here's the kicker. Money is the one thing cruise lines take more seriously than passenger safety. You could dangle off a balcony and maybe get a stern warning. But question their $9.95 charge for a can of Pringles? Boom, permanent exile. So yeah, dispute your bill with guest services before you leave the ship, not with Visa when you get home. Because nothing ruins your next cruise faster than being told, "Sorry, sir, you're not welcome back, ever." Number 5, handcuffs and restraints. So, you've packed your swimsuits, your sunscreen, your formal night outfit, and apparently some passengers also pack handcuffs. Yep. Now, maybe they thought it was funny. Maybe they thought it was romantic. Maybe they were planning a really intense game of security officer roleplay. Whatever the reason, cruise lines have made it clear. Handcuffs, restraints, or anything like them are banned. Why? Because while you might think you're setting the mood, the security team sees potential weapon. And let's be real. The last thing a crew member wants to deal with is explaining to the captain why 2 passengers have literally chained themselves together on Lido deck. One passenger joked, "Guess that means 50 Shades of the Caribbean is officially canceled." Another said they watched a couple get their furry handcuffs confiscated at security, and apparently the officers didn't even blink. Just tossed them in the bin like a bottle of water. So if you're looking for romance at sea, leave the restraints at home. Otherwise, your luggage might end up more embarrassed than you are. Number 6, bragging on social media about rule breaking. You might think once you're off the ship, the rules don't follow you, but think again. Cruise lines do watch social media. And when you post the rule break, you're basically signing your own ban letter. Take Courtney Murley, for example. She posted a viral TikTok showing how she allegedly smuggled alcohol onto Carnival Conquest using shampoo bottles and feminine product wrappers. Her caption? "Def waited until after I got home to post this, but it worked." That clever hack earned her a lifetime ban. Carnival sent her an official letter saying she's no longer allowed on any of their ships. And yes, that letter made it back onto TikTok too. Even more chilling, the bride-to-be who pulled a similar stunt was also banned after she posted her smuggling trick online. Carnival's John Heald has publicly admitted they monitor social media. He said people DM him, "Look what we smuggled" videos, and those posts lead to investigations. So here's your moral. If you feel the need to show off your clever hacks for sneaking booze or beating rules, ask yourself, is it worth never cruising with that line again? Because sometimes the post is the evidence. Number 7, AI and recording devices. Welcome to 2025, where your gadgets are smarter than you, and sometimes smarter than the cruise line wants them to be. It's not just selfie sticks anymore. Passengers have been showing up with AI glasses, translation earbuds, even jewelry that secretly records video. And while you might think you're just being tech-savvy, cruise lines see it as a massive privacy nightmare. One passenger posted that their Ray-Ban Meta smart glasses were flagged at security. Crew warned they could only wear them if the cameras were covered. Otherwise, they'd be confiscated. Another traveler on Cruise Critic said their spy-style pen camera got yanked right out of their carry-on. Why the fuss? Because ships are basically floating small towns, with casinos, bars, spas, and recording other passengers without consent is a lawsuit waiting to happen. A Carnival rep even told one guest point blank, "If it records, and it isn't your phone, don't bring it." And it's not just about cameras. Rumors swirled after one guy tried sneaking a Starlink mini satellite dish on board for faster internet. Security saw it, laughed, and slapped it on the confiscation pile. So yeah, AI and sneaky tech might make you feel like James Bond, but on a cruise ship, it'll just get you treated like the villain. Number 8, walkie-talkies, two-way radios, and baby monitors. On land, parents love these things. Baby's asleep in the next room. You pop on the monitor, and you're good. On a cruise ship, though? Totally different story. First, let's talk interference. Walkie-talkies and baby monitors can mess with the ship's own communication systems. These aren't just staff walkie-talkies. They're part of the safety network. That's why many cruise lines have quietly banned them. But here's the real kicker. Some parents have actually admitted on Reddit that they left their baby alone in the cabin with just a monitor while they went to dinner or even hit the casino. Yes, really. Imagine being the neighbor hearing a crying baby while mom and dad are out watching the late-night comedy show. One passenger wrote, "We heard a baby screaming next door, called security, and the parents showed up 30 minutes later with drinks in their hands." Not surprisingly, those parents got a serious warning, and in some cases families have been kicked off the ship entirely. So while cruise lines list baby monitors as banned items, it's not just about interference, it's about safety, because no staff member wants to rescue a toddler whose parents thought a plastic radio would babysit them. Moral of the story: if you wouldn't leave your baby alone in a hotel room with a walkie-talkie, don't do it at sea. Number 9. Gaming consoles. If you're packing your PlayStation or Xbox for your cruise, I hate to break it to you. You're basically hauling a very expensive paperweight. Here's the trick. Most cruise lines don't outright ban gaming consoles, but they've disabled the HDMI and input ports on cabin TVs, which means you can bring your console, but you can't actually use it. One passenger on Carnival even tried prying open the back of the TV to plug in their Xbox, and guess what? Security got involved, and that console ended up in the naughty room. Why? A mix of safety, liability, and, let's be real, keeping you spending money elsewhere. They'd much rather you drop a few hours and dollars in the arcade or casino than stay locked in your room screaming at Fortnite. It's so common now that whole Reddit threads warn new cruisers. Don't bother bringing your Switch or PlayStation, the TVs are locked tighter than the liquor cabinets. One traveler even said they asked guest services about unlocking the HDMI port and got the polite response, "No, sir. The casino is on deck 5. So yes, technically consoles aren't banned. They're just useless. It's the cruise line version of a silent ban. Number 10. Helium balloons and party poppers. You'd think balloons are harmless, a fun little way to surprise your kids or decorate your cabin for a birthday at sea. But on cruise ships, helium balloons are on the banned list, right next to weapons and explosives. Why? 2 reasons. First, balloons float, and not in a good way. If one drifts off the side of the ship, crew on deck or even people on shore might mistake it for a man overboard emergency. Yes, a rogue balloon can trigger a full-scale rescue drill. Imagine explaining that your daughter's Minnie Mouse balloon caused the ship to slam on the brakes in the middle of the Caribbean. Second, balloons and party poppers are a pain for ship systems. They get stuck in vents, tangled in railings, and in some ports they're flat-out banned because of environmental laws. Carnival and Royal Caribbean both list helium balloons and party poppers as prohibited items, but you'd be amazed at how many people still try to sneak them on. One Reddit user even admitted they smuggled in a bag of balloons to decorate a cabin, only to have housekeeping remove every single one before sail away. Their kids walked back in and thought the balloon fairy had robbed them. So yeah, leave the party supplies at home. Cruise lines will provide the fun. And trust me, you don't want your $2 balloon to be the reason the captain calls man overboard. Number 11. Disney's rubber duck crackdown. If you've cruised in the last few years, you've probably seen the cruising ducks trend. Families hiding little rubber ducks around the ship with cute notes attached. Kids hunt for them, trade them, keep them as souvenirs. It became a full-blown social media tradition, especially on Facebook and TikTok. But in 2025, Disney decided they'd had enough. The line quietly started removing hidden ducks from staterooms and public areas and told passengers not to hide them at all. Crew members have even been instructed to collect any ducks they see. Parents were not happy. One Redditor wrote, "My kids were devastated when crew took away the duck hunt. It was the highlight of their cruise." Another commented, "Leave it to Disney to ban the one free thing that made people smile." Disney's reasoning? Safety and cleanliness. They don't want random objects tucked into nooks and crannies, especially near kids' play areas or plant displays. But the ban sparked outrage because, honestly, who's getting hurt by a 50-cent rubber duck? So yes, of all the things to crack down on, Disney went after the ducks, and parents are still quacking mad about it. Number 12. Handheld and folding fans on dance floors. Now, this one sounds almost too silly to be true. Carnival recently announced that handheld folding fans, the kind that snap open with a loud clack, are banned in nightclubs and on indoor dance floors. Why? Because apparently people were going full drag show mode, whipping these fans open and shut to the beat of the music. It got so popular that dance floors started sounding like a thunderstorm. Clack, 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 echoing through the ship. Funny? Absolutely. Safe? Not so much. Crew said people were hitting each other with them, drinks were flying everywhere, And one guest even got smacked in the face mid-cha-cha. So Carnival cracked down, banning fans on the dance floor entirely. Of course, cruisers were divided. Some were relieved not to get whacked by a stranger's prop during DJ night fever. Others were furious, saying Carnival had killed part of the nightlife vibe. One TikTok comment nailed it. First they took away free lobster, now they're coming for the clack fans. So yes, handheld fans are fine in your cabin. But if you bring one to the club, don't be surprised if security shuts down your Beyoncé moment real quick. Number 13. Letter openers. You pack your sunscreen, your flip-flops, your passport, and apparently, some people also pack a letter opener. Why? Who knows? Maybe they thought there'd be a lot of mail at sea. But here's the thing. At cruise security, a letter opener isn't seen as a harmless desk accessory. It's flagged as a blade or weapon. One passenger shared that they had their tiny metal letter opener pulled out of their bag and confiscated at the X-ray checkpoint. Security treated it with the same seriousness as a knife. The traveler said, "I didn't even realize I had it in there. It was just always in my laptop bag. They acted like I was smuggling a sword." And that's the funny part. You can buy steak knives on board at the fancy steakhouse, but God forbid you bring a 1-inch office tool. So yeah, if you were planning to catch up on correspondence at sea, maybe stick to email, because your cruise ship really doesn't need a rogue stationary ninja. Number 14. Musical instruments. Holland America ban. You'd think a cruise ship would be the perfect place for a little jam session, sunsets, sea breeze, maybe a guitar solo by the pool. But if you're sailing Holland America, forget it. Their policy is crystal clear. No, musical instruments are not allowed. Guitars, drums, keyboards, horns, etc. are not allowed for onboard guests. That's right, guitars, flutes, violins, even tambourines. If it makes music, it's not coming on board. One cruiser joked on Reddit, "So I can listen to a drunk guy massacre karaoke at midnight, but I can't quietly play my acoustic guitar in my cabin?" Another said they were told their violin was banned, but their neighbor could blast top 40 hits through thin walls. It feels absurd, but the cruise line's logic is simple. They don't want noise complaints, fire risks from amps or power cords, or any unsanctioned entertainment competing with the ship's shows. Basically, if music is happening, they want it to be their music. So yes, bring your sunscreen, bring your fancy cruise outfits. But if you show up with a guitar case, don't be surprised if security treats you like you're trying to sneak a bazooka on board. By the way, did you know there are 14 new cruise rules that just got passengers fined or even banned? It's happening right now, and you could be one of them without even realizing it. You might want to check that video out. I'll put it right here on the end screen.